Hello and welcome again. I am Vera Jones, your host or hostess with the mostess for Certified Unscripted. If I look even a little bit disheveled today, it is for a reason. We have so much. How much news can possibly happen in women's basketball in 2 days? Because if that, in 24 hours even, this show is loaded. I mean, we're going to try to talk about everything. There's so much on tap. Dawn and Tara are going to Congress. We got too much Gino or too little. We got secrets and sagas are coming out of Syracuse. Backstabbing Becky. Why they backstabbing Becky? All right. We've got all kinds of things that we're going to talk about. Bill Cosby got out of jail. Don't know if you know about that. Yep. I told you it's a lot of stuff to talk about. And we're going to do it with the best of the best, from the boardroom to the basketball court. We have Certified Unscripted. That includes the GM. Penny Toler is joining us today, former executive vice president and general manager of the three-time WNBA champion Los Angeles Sparks. Penny, how you be today?
I'm ready to go. I'm like you. But all of this is happening today. 1 hour may not be enough. Yeah, this is going to be a mega show today.
I don't even know. There's not enough mics. It used to be it's not enough basketballs to go around. Right now, it's just not enough mics. There's just so much stuff that we have to talk about. Next up, please welcome an original franchise player for the WNBA Sacramento Monarchs. She has scored over 2,000 career points, fourth on the WNBA's all-time three-point list, the mighty Ruthie Bolton. What's up, Ruthie?
What's up? Hey, how y'all doing? Hey, I'm glad to be on with these amazing ladies. I got Penny and I got Spoon, baby. Hey, right here. Penny and Spoon, right here, baby. Right here, man.
All right.
Yeah, so hey, I'm excited. You're in for a treat. You're in for a treat tonight, baby.
Yeah, we're good to go. We got a lot on tap for sure. And last but not least, what show would be a show without the Spoon? Teresa Weatherspoon, an Olympic gold medalist, NCAA champion, Hall of Famer 2, 3, 4 times. Not even sure how many lists she's actually on. 2019 Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame, 2010 Women's Basketball Hall of Fame, and of course now in the NBA, former WNBA player, but now in the NBA, assistant coach of the New Orleans Pelicans. Spoon, welcome.
Hey, that's all I can do right now. I'm loving y'all. So good to see y'all again and get busy, but
yeah. And I don't even know where to start. So I'm just going to start because one of the things I love about this show is it's unscripted. We have things before you all join us. By the way, those of you that are joining us on Facebook Live and YouTube Live, thank you again already. Already the comments are coming in. We always welcome your comments and questions. Not sure if we're going to get to them all, but each time you put them in, we save them and we get them ready for the next week. So thank you so much for being loyal. Tell a friend to tell a friend that we are here. We're not new to this. We're true to this. All right. When it comes to women's hoops. So first thing off, where do you want to begin? How about that? Let's talk. Well, the most pressing news for
you don't even know where to begin.
I don't. The most pressing, I'm going to start with what I know, right? That's what they say. Talk about what you know. So the most pressing news for me over the last 24 hours is my own alma mater. I have to talk about Syracuse University and what is happening with Quentin Hillsman, who has been a very, very successful coach, has been known to, after 16 years of complete drought at Syracuse University, went and turned the program around, got them to the Final Four back in 2016. And yet and still this season, after a really difficult COVID year, Tiana Mangakahia with cancer, all kinds of things that went through that program that made a heartwarming story. Behind the scenes secrets and a saga has now arrived with Quentin Hillsman being accused of, what is the actual quote in the Atlantic? I want to get the actual quote. The story that now has rung out all over everywhere now is why the mass exodus from Syracuse women's basketball. And it talks about everything about from ego to manipulation to fear tactics. Let's go straight to the GM. Talk to me. Tell me about your thoughts on this thing. What did you think when you read it? There's so many directions to go.
Well, when I read it, I believe it was like 2-3 months ago when they, it was right immediately. All the players just started leaving at the end of the NCAA. obviously, you know, when you have a program and everybody's leaving, so you know there's a problem there. You know, but without being there, I can't say what's right, what's wrong, because I'm torn sometimes now. And this, not so much on this situation, because this is a whole team. When you got a whole team, there's obviously a problem. Yeah. But I'm kind of baffled, and I don't want to get away from Syracuse because I'm baffled at how there's so many players in the bubble. When I was GM of the Sparks, to be honest with you, every year I have to redo the scouting book because every year there's a mass exodus from a lot of programs. You know, like I say, this is the first with a whole team is in there. But so many players are just leaving after 1 year that, you know, for me, like Syracuse is something different. You may know more about that, but for me, I'm just surprised at how, like I say, it's off the topic, but how many players go in the bubble. So I have a problem when players being committed.
You mean the transfer portal? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because that portal is a lot of players in there. And I'm saying back when I played, when you commit, you got to commit to something. Sure. But speaking on the topic of Syracuse, that's something different now. Obviously, it's something different because you got the whole team in there. So when you got a whole team in the bubble, obviously you got a problem. But Quentin, I want to hand it to him. And like I said, I ain't on anybody's side because I'm not there to be in there, because I know sometimes everything ain't what it seems. But like he said, okay, all the players can go in the bubble, but he went in the bubble and got him another team. That's why I say, but obviously there's a problem when the whole team's there.
Yeah, Syracuse has launched an investigation now because there is an article in The Athletic, again, that speaks on this, and it ranges from everything, like I said, from manipulation and fear tactics. There's even some allegations about the managers having to put down a towel on the floor so that him insisting that they do menial tasks, even though managers do menial tasks. But this was above and beyond to protect his Louis Vuitton shoes. Everyone knows Quentin Hillsman is all about, being a, sharp dresser. There was an article way back when he was talking about his 100 ties in his collection. And, so there's a lot of things beyond, and it's hard to cut through. But I think what stands out the most is that he hired a personal friend, Coach Enoch, who apparently already had some allegations of sexual misconduct and things like that. And, Ruthie, you're shaking your head. I know that you have your own thoughts, especially as it pertains to sexual misconduct. You've been very outspoken on a lot of levels. Your thought, if indeed any of these allegations of inappropriate touching, definitely saying things that were inappropriate, just your thoughts overall. Does this really happen in college basketball and professional basketball?
You can only imagine. To me, I know with domestic violence, the percentage of what happens is the domestic violence get 4,000 calls a day. Imagine the people that are not calling the sexual assault, because you're gonna cover it up and hide before you say anything to me. And I don't care about his tie, I don't care about his shoes, I don't care about his suit. To me, there's zero tolerance for that. And the people that are in charge, the athlete, whoever in charge, the president, they need to make sure there's zero tolerance. It's not. Men do get away with stuff. They get away, okay, yeah, let you slide. But there's a time where, as women, when we got to stand up, and I'm talking about zero tolerance for it. And so for the girls, for the ladies, I don't know all the details, but if it's happening, they, forget about history, tradition. They need to be out. That's on the 100.
And Spoon, you've coached in the league, and so there's what I think Penny is suggesting is this is a huge issue because there's so many sides to it. Number one, are players, today's generation, Gen Z, are they indeed entitled? Are there some issues with cancel culture, or the minute I don't like you, I'm gonna get my mom involved, I'm gonna tell on you because you said something to me too harshly? That is one side of it. To Ruthie's point is, yeah, maybe that's one side of it, but there's got to be zero tolerance when it comes to sexual misconduct or verbal, whether that's verbal or physical misconduct. You've been a coach in the NCAA and now a coach, obviously, in the NBA. But what are your thoughts from a coach's perspective?
Well, you have to remember your purpose. Know what you're there for. And I agree. There's zero tolerance. And this was a conversation that I would have with my staff and let them know there will be zero tolerance for that. Know your purpose, what you're here for. You're here to guide, direct, motivate, and cultivate these young women. That is our freaking job every day. Nothing else. Nothing else. And I think the thing that is important too, when you talk about our young people and the entitlement, I think it's important and valuable that we find a way to have a relationship with our players and know their emotions, know where they come from, know their why, know why they do what they do. It makes a difference in how you coach these kids. And then they probably see, that you might be the first one who said, hey, I care about you. I care about where we're going with this thing. I care about you coming here and working. I care about you being a great student athlete. They may not even heard that before. So you form a relationship with them. And when you get that relationship and they trust you, then you can have harsh conversations with them. You can have those harsh conversations because they trust you that you're trying to direct them in the right way. Now, when you got players, the whole damn team.
I'm not laughing at that. What do you think you like?
No, it is.
You have to look into it. Now you got to look at both sides. You got to look at both sides. You got to hear what the children are saying.
Yes.
You got to hear what he's saying because you guys, there's both sides to the story. They're both sides. But when you got all of them leaving, you really better pay attention.
But I want to insert too. Imagine, think about the gymnastic, how they cover stuff up for years and years. These girls' lives are seeing that thousands of girls that life would never be the same, that impacted. Pray that they can bounce back, but they let things go because it's a winning culture, and they cover up. To me, to do that, it's really ridiculous. And to me, now you can't cover that up because this can happen to these girls' life, and they'll never be the same. And because I love to win, I'm competitive, but not at the sacrifice of these girls' livelihood and what they and cover stuff up because we don't want to cause any issues. But to me, if there's some facts to it, it is better to hear something, investigate it, and this be wrong than to just ignore, pretend it didn't happen. To me, if you investigate and it's not okay, but don't assume and don't walk away because you know what, let's just hush. Because to me, it is like I said, zero tolerance, and something needs to be said.
Yeah.
But Ruthie, to echo what you just said right there, and see, being a general manager, and I'm just gonna put it out there. Once someone tells you something, and someone told me something, and once they tell it to me, I have a right to tell it to my supervisor. And don't get me wrong, and I'm just gonna be honest with it. I work for the Sparks. Someone told me something. And my thing of it is, I don't know if it's true or not true, but my point is though, it needs to be investigated.
Yes.
And not just because the Sparks, and this is how I felt, and this is how I still feel. Just because we winning, that don't mean anything to me. Because to me, I'm a woman first.
Yes, exactly.
I'm a woman first, and I feel that if something inappropriate or once it's brought to me, you can't take it back now.
Yeah.
I have to go tell my supervisors, and my suggestion is, hey, we had to investigate this. And it doesn't matter if we're winning. This is about a human right, a human obligation. And being a female, I'm going to always see it from that perspective. And my thing of it is, when some stuff was happening and, once it kept going, and unfortunately, a lot of people came forward after the fact. And I asked people, why didn't you say something before? And they say to me, because the team's winning. I'm like, what that got to do with anything?
Yes.
And the flip side of that, and I'm sure, and people can take this for what it's worth, and people know some of this stuff goes on. And this is part of the reason why I don't have a job, because I spoke up. When we do speak up,
right,
the messenger gets killed.
And you're right. And there's a lot of people who don't speak up and just want
everybody knows some of the stuff I was saying is true. My thing of it was, I'm gonna pat myself on the back. I tried to do the right thing.
Okay, but listen, if you're spoken to, they come and speak to you. I mean, they took you behind closed doors and told you exactly what was going on. And then you never went to your supervisor and spoke. Guess what trouble you're in now? Well, I told, and you never said anything. You have to go because now
I have no choice.
So let me go and talk, whether you know it's right or wrong, whether it's true or not true. You have to go and speak on it, because if not, they're going to say, "Well, you knew, you had the information, but you never came forth." So now you're in a bad position right now.
Really bad.
Exactly, and that was the position, Spoon. And I'm going to speak on it because we're here talking about it, and I think I want to speak on it because I want to help somebody else.
Yes.
If you're debating on should you tell somebody, there is no debate.
No debate.
You have to do the right thing and tell someone. Now I'm not going to lie to you. You're probably going to be out of a job like I am. That's usually what happens. But
Yeah.
the point was, I still felt that I know that it would stop some of it. And my thing of it is, I don't think the answer is letting someone get away with it either. You know, and then they go do it at the next spot. And then when you could have saved somebody else some heartache. And to me, I'm saying to myself, this is wrong.
Yeah.
Well, one of the reasons why, and Ruthie, you might be able to speak to this even better than I can, but I know in dealing with this a lot and talking about this a lot out on the speaker circuit and other speakers who definitely speak about this. One of the reasons is, and we've seen this, and this is why I threw the Bill Cosby thing in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or anyone else, Weinstein, whoever you want, pick someone, is that the victim of these, issues, it comes back on them, not just from, the administration or whoever is in authority is not going to do anything about it, but it comes back even from your peers. So in this example, if I go back to Syracuse, Alexis Peterson, WNBA player, former Syracuse player, right, made the comment after, this Atlantic article came out, she made the comment of, I guess it was a tweet or whatever, of in support of Quentin Hillsman and saying, you all need to basically, I don't have it in front of me, but in short, is basically saying you need to get over yourself. He never did any of that to me. You need to get over yourself, and literally said, grow the F up, right? You're ruining his family, by saying this. So now even your peers are, and if I can, and I'm gonna give this right back to y'all, it makes me crazy. Spoon, if I said to you, if you came to me and said, Penny robbed my house, and I go, oh, well, she didn't do that. She didn't rob my house. Does that mean Penny didn't rob your house? You know what I mean? It's the dumbest thing that you could say is in support. You can show your support of your coach.
Yeah.
And like I said, Tiana did the same thing. People are coming out in support. Show your support. But you're going to eat some tremendously painful and humble pie if it comes out later that he, in fact, is guilty of doing these things because someone else on your team said it happened to me. You don't get to say, because it didn't happen to me, it couldn't have possibly happened to you.
Yeah.
It doesn't work that way. Am I correct, Ruthie?
Yeah, I've just really prayed that with women that we are strong enough to, if someone tell you something, that you at least look into it, or you tell higher authorities or the coach or athlete, somebody, athlete director, you don't just ignore. Oh, he did, like I said, it didn't happen to me. I just hope you will care enough for your teammate, for women in general. I might not even know the person, but if I hear someone share something with me, because I work with a lot of girls, and the stories I've heard since I've been speaking a lot about this is just so sad, because you're going to sort of be quiet before you say anything out of embarrassment. Sure. Somebody won't believe me, what they're going to think about me. But this thing could hurt people. And the thing about this could really, if this could hurt them, and then they'll end up doing something later in life that's going down a path that's tough. So I just really hope that women, that we're strong enough now that we will stand up for each other and be a voice. And that's one of the reasons why, that a lot of the workshops I've done is trying to be a voice for women that don't have a voice, because we have to speak up, and we can't just walk away. Oh, it's not my problem. To me, it's just something in my DNA. If something won't let me not say anything or look into, hey, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I'm going to be there for you. I'm going to join forces with you. I'm in the trenches with you. It doesn't matter my status, what I've done in basketball. It doesn't matter who I am, the Olympics. I'm a woman first, like you said, and I want to help every woman, help lift them up and elevate them. And so I just really hope that anybody that's listening, you out there and you got a teammate come to you, that you really will look into it and be by their side until you at least figure out what's going on. Don't just ignore it, say, hey, it's not my problem. To me, I just wish women, we could come together and be strong and lift each other up.
What I've learned along the way in coaching is when those kids come in those doors and they want to talk, they are looking for someone to tell their story. They're telling you because they want you to tell the story.
Yeah.
My thing to them was always, my doors are open. But if you're discussing with me some personal stuff and I see it is going to be detrimental to you and to this team, I'm going to speak on it. Now, everything else is between me and you. And they know it. So I know when they were coming to me to tell me something that they wanted me to speak on because they didn't know how. Now, you can support who you want. And that's excellent. I get it. And I got people that I would support because of what wasn't done to me or whatever the case may be. But I would never, ever try to speak on someone else's truth. And that's the thing. We can't speak on someone else's truth. That didn't happen to you. Well, I can't say that. I don't know that, but I can say what didn't happen to me, but I can't in any way diminish what happened to them or their. I couldn't do that.
Yeah, and that's what makes it crazy. And that's just one of the other reasons why women have come out. And I think that's what's most painful, even if we weren't talking about sport, we're just talking about in general. When women who are victims of sexual abuse or violence or whatever it is, speak up and other women bash them for speaking up. That's a problem, right? Now, God forbid, if you're sabotaging someone's career and lying, there's a special place for you.
Absolutely.
Right? There's a special place. But God forbid if someone is trying to say help. And as I'm a victim of this and I need help and I could not hold it any longer. And then everybody pounces. Why'd you wait so long? Oh, you just want to make money. Oh, that's the problem. And we've seen that. But we could beat this one forever.
No, I think Syracuse is doing the right thing because you have to have an investigation, you know, and at the end of the day, that's why I always say that's where the investigation come in. I always say, do the investigation and let the cards fall where they may at that point.
Yeah. So they're doing their due diligence. Well, we are loaded with questions and comments today. Like I said, we're doing good though. We're gonna shift. We're gonna change gears a little bit. Getting a lot of questions. This one's big. This is another big one. In fact, I thought this was going to be our headliner coming in. Just about the Olympics. We know about the selection. We talked about it last week. We talked about one of the things that is circulating out there is Tina Charles, UConn 2010, Nafisha Collier, UConn 2019, Breanna Stewart, UConn 2016, Diana Taurasi, UConn 2004. So all of the UConn players constantly make Sue Bird, of course, 40 years old, UConn, right? So this was a big, why is it all these people from UConn? Not that they don't necessarily belong. That's a whole nother argument. But the argument became Gino Auriemma, for those of you that I can't believe anybody's watching this show, that's a women's hoops fan that I need to preface this, but I will just in case, who of course has been the tremendously successful head coach of University of Connecticut women's basketball for a very long time. He's also very high up on the Olympic committee and makes some decisions. Penny, you can speak directly to this. Is it too much, Gino, or not? One of the questions here is, please get to this and be honest. Does Gino Auriemma have something against or had something against Candace Parker in 2016? I asked because I felt at that time she still was on top of her game. Then him being on the committee and cutting NECA. Come on with it. What happened there? What do you think?
Okay, well, I'm going to take the first question first. 2016. Okay. Well, as far as I'm concerned, I wanted to send Gino a thank you card because I know Candace Parker was about to make him eat his words. And the Sparks went on. That was the best motivation ever because the Sparks went on and won a championship that year. NECA became MVP, had the best percentage in the league. I already knew that I said, oh, my God, Candace is definitely about to make him eat some crow. You know what I'm saying? And we had the big team, Talvin and all those people. Now, how I feel about the Connecticut players, let me tell you something. They all legit. That's the thing with the national team. You can pick any of them, and, I'm sure I'm probably going to get some backlash because right now, Breanna Stewart, this might be the best player in the WNBA. I can say that. Okay. Now, as far as Gino is concerned, I think, he done had his opportunity. I've been a coach. I can say that I enjoy working with him because I done been on the committee with him, had a hand in picking this Olympic team, before my dismissal from the Sparks. But at the same time, to be honest with you, I don't know how the college coaches let him be on the committee because it's a huge recruiting tool. I think more there than recruiting and getting players that it gives those other coaches a disadvantage. I think going forward after this fiasco with everything and Necker not making the team, to be honest with you, I think the board needs to just be WNBA people. I don't think the media, I heard that the media wanted to have something involved. I don't think the media should have a vote. And the reason being because stuff that is said behind closed doors needs to stay behind closed doors. But I do believe going forward that you know, I don't think any college coach should be on the board. I know this is where you can have that connection with the Olympic team and former players. You know, Katie was there, myself was there. I think there's another route to go, and I think going forward it's going to be looked at because this is, you know, it's just too much. But I will say this: Nafisha, all those players are legit. You know, they can play. It's just a matter of who you want to pick.
Yeah. Spoon and Ruthie, you both have played in the Olympics, and you know, take us behind the scenes a little bit. How hard is it to play? But how much does politics play a part?
Well, I'm gonna be real quick. You know, as far as the Connecticut players, I'm gonna throw out there. You know, they are great players. They what they've done, and you can't take anything from them and what they've done. Okay, yes, you know, we talk about a lot of Connecticut players being on the team. I am you know, it is sort of a very broad topic, but I think that I just hope that USA, like I said, I got my USA jersey on. This is the 25th year anniversary of the 96. You know, I think that I just pray that they get the best team and whatever the best team to do, you know, to be and not politics. I know the word of politics. And I used to hate to use that word politics. You know, and I played for 12 different teams, the national teams, and I don't know, for us, I don't really want to down, you know, Carol Callan. I love her. She's awesome. She's always been consistent. But I think I think the most important thing is making sure that people are done fairly. Well, don't pick a player because of their coach. Don't pick a player because it's, you know, pick the right players for a team. That's my thing. Do not pick a player because of politics. Make sure you pick the right players for the team. And that's real. I'm gonna say that and leave it at that and pray that, you know, because you work so hard to get there. The Olympics obviously is very hard to get there. And if you work your butt off and you play in all those tournaments and you get to the final and don't get picked, you know, I don't know. I just hope that that they do right.
Yeah. Boom.
They just said it best. You pick the right players. And we all know UConn players can go. They can play. They're well coached. And we all know that. And if you pick one, they're going to pick one of the best. If you pick one of them, but like Ruthie said, it's hard. It's hard to make one of those teams. And when you do, and you've played every freaking summer, and you've been there, and you've sacrificed, you're thinking that your opportunity as an Olympian is greater than anyone else's. You have a greater opportunity to freaking make it because of your loyalty for every freaking summer that you gave to even be a part of this or even have an opportunity or a chance. You know, your chances are greater. So it can be really, really freaking hard for it to happen. And we've spoken on the UConn players, and this is my thing, and I've always been like this as an athlete. I've always said, hell, if those are the ones, well, I'm gonna ante up and I'm going after those athletes. Those are the ones I'm coming after.
She's an ante up.
I'm anteing up, coming after you. So, you know, that's the players, I'm gonna be right beside you every single day. I'm gonna be right there. Because I know they're looking at you. So by the time I finish with you, they're gonna be looking at me.
I heard that. That's what I'm talking about.
And I'm gonna tell you, being a part of the committee that picked, you know, I've been in the league forever. I believe it was the 2008 and the 2012. I was also a part of picking those Olympic team. It's tough. Yeah. It's really tough to pick because you have so many players that I think sometimes the public forget that, okay, what happened if Elena Deladon is healthy? What happened if Angel McCarthy is healthy? You know what I'm saying? And I think what the committee tries to do, I don't have to think. I know what I tried to do was I'm picking me a lot of players that are versatile because depending on who you're playing, I may need a different lineup. I may need a smaller lineup. I may need a you know, a quicker lineup. Sometimes I may need a big lineup. And the one thing that I do love about Nafisha, and I can say this, it's funny because I watched her when she first came in the league. Now, if this had been 2020, she might not would have made it. You know, and that's what the talk was about Tina not having a good year last year, but Tina's having an MVP year this year. And this is what people forget is it ain't what you've done in the past, is in the words of Janet Jackson, what have you done for me lately? Right. And that's about what's happening on the court. Where if you take Nafisa when she came in, I was like, oh man. And I used to be at the trials watching it. This kid gonna be awesome. And now she's 2 years in.
Mhm.
Think about it. Minnesota went from the bottom to the top just
Right.
with Teresa coming back.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
went from what, 10th place? I think they might be in what, 5th or 6th right now. So, and then Ariel Atkins, I mean, you know, you need some linky long players. And, you know, and I remember I was on the committee when, you know, we picked Carol Lawson. People were like, Carol Lawson. Because remember, too, people got to realize it's not a popularity contest. It's like Ruthie and Spoon saying, pick the best players.
Right. Right.
And like I
So-
said, where's the Janet Jackson?
I'm
What have
gonna
you
add,
done lately?
yeah,
Yeah.
another thing too with US, I was on the committee and we were trying to pick players. There were certain players that didn't make it because they were great players. So I'm correct.
Yeah.
Players that can play and gel together. There's not, you know, such superstar, but players that are coachable. You know,
Mhm.
you might not average 30 points with your team, but you might not average 30 with USA team. How can you play with your teammate? So to me, if you've done that and you got these players can come together, become one family, one team, and win the gold, then you know the rest is going to take care of itself. So I think that family, that team, the players that are coachable and that can be told, okay, yes, I need to do this, I need to do that. Because some players think they, you know, all that in a bag of chips. So I think that if you can play with each other and focus on the team goal, I think that's what's important too.
All right.
And
We've
then,
got,
like we said, in America, we can win the gold, bronze, and the silver. We got that many players that we can send 3 teams and just put them up.
So agree.
And that's why it's kind of like no matter who you pick, somebody's going to be mad. But literally, we can send 3 teams. Our 20 and under could probably go win the silver or the bronze. You know, so
True.
Right.
that's how I feel about America.
You said that so good, Penny. I remember making the team. And some of the girls who were so freaking good and the practices were so good, they didn't make it. Heck, I cried with them when they didn't make it because I was like, dang, I felt pain because it was that freaking close. It was that hard. It was that difficult. The practices were unbelievable. Everybody had to be on point every day. And it was
Every day.
great competition. Everybody was competing. And when they didn't make it, hell, I walked off and cried for them too.
yeah.
It's hard and it's your dream. And when you walk away and you're told that, you know, they're moving on in a different direction. That hurts.
And I was told that when they picked Spoon.
Speaking of
that, I was
That
on
is
that
going
game.
off
screen.
I was rated the best offensive player in college basketball at the time. But the point was, Spoon went to the Olympics and Susan McConnell went.
Yeah.
I went home and I cried. But I didn't. But I still wanted America.
Was that 92?
Right
Was that 92?
Then
Somebody beat.
I wish it was 92. I'd be a little younger.
No, you know what? 92.
I'd be a little younger.
And I thought I played so good. I was ready. I went and sat down. I can't remember the coach, the lady with the blonde hair. She said,
Teresa Grant.
yeah, she said, man, you had an amazing trial. She said, you couldn't have done anything else, but we just want to go a different direction. I think they need more of a point guard. And at the time, I think that's when Susan maybe made it or something like that. But you know what? I got hungry. I said, you know what, doggone it. Hey, you know what? You got to tell me no again because I'm coming back and I'm coming back strong. Sure enough. So 96, I was ready. But it's a very tedious journey. And to me, to be able to represent, that's why I got my jersey on, but be able to represent, you know, USA and it is. And like I said, you can't make everybody happy. But I just hope that people in charge, that the decision maker will make the right decisions. And if you don't make it, hey, you just got to be hungry to come back. That's the bottom line. Is that you just
all
have to
I know to do is hats off to all our girls because we got some heck of athletes out there.
Yes.
Not a part of the Olympic team, but hats off to you guys because you guys are hella athletes.
All
And I
right,
just
well,
got
when
one
we
thing to
get back on the flip side, I got to break real quick. But when we get back on the flip side, we've got some great questions about some athletes, as a matter of fact. So we'll talk a little bit of hoops on the flip side of this, and some of this Spoon we've got a couple of questions. We'll talk a little bit about some names like Cheryl Miller. I think that's a pretty important name in Olympic and women's basketball history. We'll get some of those questions right on the flip side of this. Don't go anywhere. Stay right there. Right there.
In today's busy, fast-paced world, you need hydration that can go the distance with you. Face it, most sports drinks are more like soda. Many contain tons of sugar, artificial flavoring, artificial colors, and artificial ingredients, sometimes leaving you feeling sluggish, nauseous, and bloated. Well, there's a new sports drink in town, and she's got game. Introducing Electra, supernatural hydration for everyday doers, hustlers, and athletes.
Once again, you're watching Certified Unscripted. I'm your host, Vera Jones, and we've got Penny and Ruthie and Spoon all joining us. And we've also got you. Thank you so much for your comments and your questions. I want to get to a couple of them. We've been talking about the Olympics. At the top of the hour, of course, we were talking about women and some of the hard things we have to face. We might come back to that because that was a pretty good, heated conversation. We got some more questions. So Spoon, the question was, I lost it already because the questions keep coming in. I love this, by the way. You all please just keep on doing it. Spoon, how was it playing with the legendary Cheryl Miller? I think we should hear from players that played with her and against her. Could y'all imagine her in the WNBA if she was in her prime? Talk about it.
Ooh-wee. I'm going to take you back to college.
Okay.
We went to play them in USC, and now 0 3-point line, no 3-point line yet. All right. By the end of this game, it was a tight one, big time game. I mean, she was knocking down 3 shots from the half court, knocking down shots. She was just freaking incredible. By the time we get to the end of the game, this girl got 33, but the shots were from way back. And I'm like, man, it was a 3-point line then. How many she would have left with? And it'd have been on us. It'd have been on us. But she was a joy to play with. The stuff that you see now, she was doing then. Slapping the backboard, deep three. She had incredible range. She was #1 in the world. I got a chance to play with the #1 player in the world. And her approach every day, she wanted to kill you. She had that attitude of, no, I am the best. You come against me, I will destroy you. And she had fun playing the game. Her approach was just, that's what I liked the most was her approach. Didn't matter who she played, especially when we went against Brazil. And we saw Hortensia. We saw her.
1980.
You remember her?
I remember. Oh, trust me, I remember Hortensia.
She went to another level. She was an amazing,
awesome,
off the charts, heck of a player. I am just honored to know that I had an opportunity to play with her and to call her a friend, someone that I still keep in touch with to this day.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. We got one more blast for the past question. Teresa Edwards didn't come to the WNBA after the ABL went down in 1998. My question is, if Edwards came to the WN right away, you all think she would have had a few years. Where could she have been as an all-star player?
Every year she would have been an all-star.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Teresa Edwards.
That girl's a beast, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Definitely a great leader. I've been blessed to play with her, and she was just always just a great leader, and just, she, to me, was Teresa Edwards. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like she doesn't really get the prop that she deserves. People should know, these young girls should know who Teresa,
absolutely,
like they should know her, but, and I talked to her kind of bit, she's sort of a mama, old school, and but I appreciate her. And like I said, that I definitely know she would have done really well. And she won that player, very homegrown from Georgia. And but yeah, she's always kept me straight. Ruthie, girl, stop eating that fast. Or stop doing that. I sang a song. She grew up in the church, and so yeah, she good people. And I know she and a heck of a basketball player. Not just a point guard, but a playmaker. Yeah, make plays. She knew when to score. She knew when to find play that was open. So
yeah,
she
was demanding.
Yes.
She demanded greatness from everybody.
Yes,
every day. She brought it in practice when games started. Look out. She's about to put on a show. She demanded greatness from everybody. Everybody worked their butts off, but she was a great example for us all. So it was some even greater competition against Hortensia and Teresa Edwards, and Paola.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Paola, remember? Oh, Paola too, man.
Awesome competition, but Teresa Edwards was just amazing to watch. The things that she could do, the control of her speed and quickness, and she was great offensively and defensively.
Yeah.
She played both sides of the ball.
And what I loved about Teresa was, and this is like what Ruthie and what Spoon was saying about being a leader. She's not going to ask you to do nothing that she wasn't going to do.
That's right.
Right.
And then she encouraged you. And I'm going to tell you, she's definitely one of the best ever. And this is what I mean by, unfortunately, before time, a lot of us was before our time. Well, I won't even say before our time, before television. You know, and that's the injustice that happened on women's basketball, that you didn't get a chance to see the past because people think when they see Lisa or Candace or Brianna and all these players now shooting jump shots, like I say, I'm going to name some names to people. Janice Lawrence, Lisa Ingram, you know what I'm saying? And believe it or not, you had another great point guard that a lot of Americans never would have heard of. Do you guys remember Jung Lee?
Jung Lee?
I mean, Joe wasn't America. I mean, he was one of the best point guards. You would have to really be immense in knowing your craft. And we knew these players because we took the time to know them.
Yeah.
You know, where a lot of these players, they just looking at the league and just want to go in there. And that's why a lot of them don't make the league. But back to like what you said, back to what you were talking about, Cheryl was awesome, great, call her friend. And Teresa was just legit.
Different.
I mean, legit.
She's different. Yeah. We talk about all these great players, you guys. We had a chance to see them. And like we said,
in their prime,
see these girls play like a Katrina McClain.
When's that name coming up?
Lynette Woodard,
Vicky
Latanya Pollard.
All these girls, nobody saw them play. You would be in freaking awe to watch these girls. Freaking awe to watch these ladies play. I mean, it was Medina Dixon.
Oh my God, that's a name from the past.
It's like, man, you talking about basketball and competing and had that kill instinct, they would kill you. It wasn't none of that touchy kind of basketball. We were physical and lived for it. They lived for it.
This is perfect. This is perfect. A perfect segue because we're coming up, obviously, on WNBA All-Star Weekend, July 14th, right? So tomorrow's July 1st. Holy smokes, this year's flying. Taurasi surpasses 9,000 career points. Wow. Here's the new discussion. Is she the GOAT? You just named all of those players and you've got all this rich history, right? Because you all didn't even go all the way back to, Carol Blazejowski and all that. I mean, y'all didn't even go back to back, right? Yeah. But is she Nancy Lieberman, right? So is she the GOAT? Is Taurasi the GOAT? Why or why not? And if not, who is?
I'm gonna start. I don't talk about those situations. I really don't get deep into that conversation about the GOAT. The GOAT. Okay. It's so many greats. It's so many greats that we've had, and I can name them off and be like, these girls are awesome. No, so I can't say she's the GOAT. I can't do that. I can't. It's just it's too much out there.
Too
much out there.
Okay. All right. And that's what, so how do we arrive at that at men's hoops? Because they've got a deep, rich history. What even establishes whether you're the GOAT, the greatest of all time? What helps? What's the qualification?
They do it just for a conversation. To me, it's like, how you do that? How do you do it? Okay, how you just gonna pick one player? I'm like, it's too many great. This is a panorama. This is like this. It's not a vertical. It's like there's a lot of great players, a lot of different positions, players that made an impact. So I like what Spoon said.
There's so much out there.
To me, it's not worth spending a whole bunch of time talking about that one player.
Yeah,
There's too many great players out there, and that may be something the men talk about, but for the women, the impact. As far as I'm concerned, you know what? Why not Spoon be a GOAT? I'm like, why not in her time, in her era?
Spoon, you can be my GOAT. You can be my GOAT.
She just said the key word, in the eras.
And her,
That's what I was going to say.
Who bring more passion? To me, I want somebody like you in my foxhole, Spoon. I want somebody like, I want to be like us on here. It's like, so, I know it's a conversation. I know it's a GOAT, but I think that too, there's so many great players that have impact. What do you do? How do you leave your footprints? What impact do you make in the game? To me, I think that's what's more important to try to see who that number one player. Of course, I don't take nothing for Taurasi. Love her, know her. She played with an edge. She played with a fight. She played with a tenacity that, hey, don't back. She was like the female, like the player that came in to say, hey, you know what? Yeah, I'm one of the best, and so don't try me. So I like the edge that she played with.
And the longevity.
Takes nothing.
Jesus. Yeah.
And
she and Sue Bird. The longevity. My God.
They were spoken about forever. They were spoken about forever what they brought to the game. I just have the conversation, the GOAT conversation. I don't debate it on the men's side. I don't debate it on the women's side. It's just too much that have been brought to this game in every era. And I will forever talk about their greatness and what they did for women's basketball, but most important, what they've done for basketball, period.
Penny, you got a thought on that? You got to go?
I agree with everything they're saying, because I think every era has a GOAT. But at the end of the day, how do they get to be the GOAT? They've seen it before. Like, who was, you know what I'm saying? Every player to come after you, they modeled their game after somebody. But like Spoon, you know, I think Spoon and Ruthie said it great. Like, to me is you got so many great players that have helped elevate this game. You know,
Yeah.
you got so many great players that came before these great players. Look, we haven't even mentioned Cynthia Cooper. You know, we have Cheryl Spooks. You know,
right.
We haven't even
that's all you knew.
mentioned
Believe it or not,
Leslie. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, you're right.
It's so many. It's so many. And I know one that a lot of people wouldn't even know because she hurt her knee. And I still say to this day, she was one of the best players I ever seen. And I'm related to this, like to men. I'm gonna give you the analogy of people look at Michael Jordan, but there was Len Bias that you never got to know because he died.
Sure.
You know, there was Cheryl Miller, but if people realize, and Ruthie and Spoon, you may know this, right? There was Tina Hutchinson at San Diego State.
Yeah.
That was 16. That was like, I mean, she made Pan Am team as an 11th grader, you know, but she put her knee out and you never heard from her again because there wasn't television.
Yeah.
There's just so many great players. Like I say, we didn't even touch on Lisa, you know, all these players.
We haven't touched on all them yet.
That's what I said. You know, we haven't
even touched on people leave out a lot, and they leave her out so much. I ain't leaving her out because I had to freaking defend her tail. That dang Michelle Edwards.
I know Michelle, but she had an elevated shot.
I know.
Deanna Nolan, Mawadi. These girls come out to gym and play this game. It's so many you can talk
even
about.
Lauren Jackson, if you want to throw some comments in there. Yeah. And see, people didn't even know how good Isabella Fijakowski was. You know what I'm saying? It's like we can name foreign play. And like you said, Hortensia, it's too bad. I'm going to tell you something. I love to play against her. I swear to God, when I went overseas, I said, now I want to see you where we can just rifle off. Because, you know, over in America, you got to play something to pass the ball. But overseas, you can go for broke. Hortensia was one of the best guards I've ever seen.
She was, sure.
And if they had 3-pointers with her, she probably would average 42. And she was a Brazilian and had a swag for days.
Yeah.
Had handles, had the flair, and knew she was good. You know what I'm saying? I love watching her play, and she had a killer mentality.
Even in my prime, we played, and they beat us in the World Championship Brazil with Hortensia. And I think I held her at 10 points, but they still beat us by like 2 or 3. Yeah. She was one of the toughest players for me to defend. She was tough. And then I would say when you talk about the all-around player, a player that played with an edge was Cooper. I was looking at one of her articles. I don't know if y'all read it. It says, I want my DAM in respect too. Y'all got to read that article.
I said, I want my damn respect too.
That's what I'm saying.
Listen, she said, oh my God, y'all, hey, listen, I'm going to say, you got to read that article. Yeah. I'm like, how she got a point. She said, so if they've done this, I've done it. And she was always sort of been overlooked. Everything I got, I had to earn it. So, and of course, she played with this little flare, raise the roof. And people always say, oh, well, I don't care. Hey, if you do what she does, she can raise the roof all she wants.
All she wants.
Raise the roof, like, you know, so I definitely think she's a player that was just powerful. That was a player that was just.
I'll tell you what, too. She pushed her way in.
Yes, she did.
She was always my roommate on USA teams. Always my roommate. Always. It was me and Coop. And I'm telling you, she used to sit up and dream about this. She used to dream about this. And I can remember her telling me when we get to the WNBA and she's with the Comets, I was like, man, I'm going to be always defending your butt until you start to pass. It's going to be difficult. Started passing. Oh, shit. So hard to defend her. And then she had Coop around. She had Tina around her. She had little Coop Rod around her. It's just so many, man. And Coop, she's different.
And she was an entertainer. And we used to go overseas. You know, I used to love her. I mean, Coop and shoot and talk at the same time. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, she could.
You know how to play against her and you know how to play with Coop. And I love me some Cynthia. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and she gonna seize the. Listen, when she walk in a room, everybody gonna know she in there. Everybody gonna know it. Like she would take over a room. Her presence and she got a big personality. So yeah, she's not shy at all. So
hey, we're gonna have to get that personality on the show.
I'm serious.
Let's do it. And we probably should start telling all of our viewers, hey, tell a friend to tell a friend for sure, because when we start loading up this show with the stars and the even the coaches and the different people that you love, then you want to be one of those ones that say, I knew him when, right? So we're excited to be able to get some people on the show. I want to switch gears a little bit, just a little bit, because we talked about great players, but I want to talk about coaches a little bit, and probably more specifically, let's talk about the whole piece of. So a lot of people have criticized as well. Does being an NBA player automatically make you a good coach in the WNBA? Or if you want to broaden this, why is it that so many men's coaches, right, can do what they do in women's basketball and have for so long, versus now the big question, a huge question for many, many years, why can't it be the other way around? Is there a double standard? Can women coach men's basketball and be a head coach? Let's go there on the coaching scene. GM, you first.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's just take.
Don't try to get silent now.
I'm going to go and say one thing. I don't think it's automatic. I think, and I'm speaking for Penny Toler. Okay, I ain't speaking for anybody else. There's only been two NBA players that were real successful in coaching women's basketball. It's Michael Cooper and Bill Laimbeer. Mm-hmm. You had Muggsy Bogues. You had what was his name? He coached in Orlando. You guys, I forget his name. D. Brown. You had D. Brown. Yeah. Muggsy Bogues. Who else? You had it's quite
Orlando
a few.
Woolridge.
Yeah. You had Orlando Warriors. She was my coach, so yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Tell us how you feel about it. Right?
Okay. Yeah, I forgot about him. You had him. Okay. So I think back in the day, and I'm just being honest, and the women are about to cream me when I say this, but I'm just gonna be honest. I think back in the day, the men were easier to coach because they were in the NBA and they understood what freedom were. To be honest with you, I thought a lot of college coaches, and I'm speaking for myself, my experience, I thought a lot of college women's coaches had a difficult time coaching because in college you had a lot of control. Well, when the WNBA came, I was an older player. I think I was like 29. So now you got 18 and 29, and look at Sue right now. Sue's 40 and the youngest player, 20? And I thought that was difficult for coaches, women coaches, and I don't know, maybe we didn't pick the right ones. I don't know. I'm just talking about my own experience. And so I thought that a lot of players, and I saw it, and women, a lot of players gonna deny, but they're gonna know they're lying. They would be crushed with having men coaches. Even some of my players that I had now, they wanted men coaches because they don't hold grudges. They just want to play ball. They want their emotion. I'm just being honest with you, right? Yeah. Now, the thing that I don't like, and then I don't want to take away the topic and Spoon, you guys can bring it back and give your experiences. But like this stuff that's going on with Becky right now, I'm like, okay, really, you guys? Now we know Becky's qualified.
What's going on with Becky? What's going on with Becky?
Say, Portland's getting questioned. Okay, how you pick Chauncey with his background, but then don't give Becky a shot? And then the comment was when they reached out to talk to people, they said they didn't get good feedback on her day to day. Are you kidding me? We all know that women, what do? We pay attention to detail. Mm-hmm. That's the lamest excuse that I've ever seen, because I've seen men coaches. I've had one here, and just because I was a GM, I don't always pick the coach. Sometimes you don't pick the coach. I had a coach that I had to tell, guess what? You may think that men are smarter. Men can be stronger and may run faster, but women, we're smart. I had to tell a coach that. And I told the coach one time, you got a better chance of getting these women to play if you tell them all they're beautiful, because they're not going to play for you right now, because he didn't respect them. He didn't respect them. So for me, I don't think it automatically make you a better coach. I think back in the day it was preferred because I thought they could get along with the personalities a little more. That was my experience. That, as I said, Penny Toler. But I'm just appalled now when we have women such as Spoon and Becky and Dawn or whatever other woman you want to put out there, for Portland to come back and say, oh, we got feedback that she doesn't do the day-to-day. What is the day-to-day? Give me a break. That's your excuse not to pick her, and you're saying what she did day-to-day, and I'm not knocking anybody because everybody got skeletons in their closet, but you got day-to-day and what your own player is saying, Leonard in terms of what Chauncey got. And I'm not knocking him because everybody got something, And if you want to pick him, just pick him. But I do have a problem with you trying to put down Becky, because it's going to start with Becky and it's going to start with the next lady that comes up to be a coach, that I'm looking at a trend that could be detrimental to any woman ever coaching in the NBA. So
Right.
that's all I got to say on all that. Okay.
All right. Well,
hey, you said enough. I'm like, hey, it ain't.
Yeah.
It's a day and time. I'm like, the Spoon, Becky, Dawn could coach NBA. I have no, like I said, men invented basketball, but women perfected it. And I know that sounds creepy,
Exactly.
but that is so true. The game is the game, and I think that, to me, being able to have the respect, and of course they're gonna make excuses, but you know what? I feel like we have made a lot of progress, and we'll get there. And there will be more women coaching. And I think that we just have to keep pushing for the ones that have voices, like using shows like this to have a conversation and have dialogue about it. But I know we're moving forward, and I know that we'll get there. It's gonna take us a while, but we'll get there for the respect that we deserve. But we just got to keep standing up for what we believe in and keep talking about it and being transparent about how we feel about the subject.
Right.
I think coming up for our next show, we can do a whole show just on RESPCT, right? Just on respect and women. And let's do that. Send in your questions about respect and what it takes. And we definitely can go further about the trials and tribulations of being a woman in what used to be a male dominated thing, right? But now, we have, especially with the WNBA and the prominence of that over the last 25 years, have certainly made some strides, but we got places we need to go. That said, let's bring in the big boss, make sure we're doing it right. Rita Haywood is the executive producer of Unscripted.
How y'all doing?
We're good.
Good.
How did you say we did?
I think y'all did excellent. That's why y'all up there.
That's what you keep the boss happy. Keep the boss happy. That's how we roll.
No, I think you hit on so many phenomenal points and things that we as women have to think about. We have to have zero tolerance. We have to have each other's back in every situation. And it can't be about a job. It can't be about money. It can't be about fear. We're here to protect each other. So you take care of people who take care of you, but you also take care of people who are in fear, because fear is going to stop you. So I'm so glad you brought up some major points regarding domestic violence and just being able to speak your truth. And that's why we're here, to be unscripted and tell the truth, whether it's about Gino, the USA basketball team. We're going to put it out there because it matters that you really understand what's going on in what we do and what we've done. We did it. We've done it. We walked the walk. So now we deserve to talk the talk. So I appreciate y'all always giving a great show.
Yeah. Awesome. Final words. Always wrap up with those inspiring final words. And we've got so much more to give you next week. So come on back. We did have a Wednesday show, but we'll be right back to our Tuesday show next week and every week. Please tell a friend to tell a friend. But take us out. I don't know. Jump in. Penny, Ruthie, I don't care. Spoon. Who wants to go?
All right, that Spoon, take us out. Go ahead, Spoon.
I can tell you this. I'm going to just hit Becky a little bit here, but I've watched her as a young kid and what she's done and the work that she's put in. So I know about her day-to-day work. So we're going to leave that at that. I know what her day-to-day work is.
Right.
I'm going to leave that at that. But every day we do something, we got to remember that we got to do everything on purpose with a purpose.
Yeah. And the things that are hardest to endure will be the sweetest to recall. So let's keep pressing on, leaning in. When you run that hill, at the point of that hill where it feels like you're the weakest, you're the strongest. We just got to lean in, and we're doing it with this show. We're leaning in, and hey, we're gonna conquer. We're gonna shift the atmosphere. We're gonna change the whole narrative, because we're together. We're a strong, powerful women. Hey, we 5 of us. Hey, I'll be the 2. And so you the point. 2. I'll be the 3.
Let me shoot it.
Rebound.
No, you got to play inside. Vera, you got.
I ain't playing inside. I'm 5'8". 5'8".
You got. Hey, 4 out, 1 in. Who gonna be in?
4 out, 1 in. Let's go there. Let's play 5 out. How about that?
She said 5 out. Yeah.
Listen, when it comes to women's who we're not new to this, we're true to this. We are certified
Certified?
Certified.
We're gonna get this right one of these times. We're gonna get it right. Thank you for joining us. Be sure to
Hey,
join
y'all
us next
flex
week.
up, y'all
Again,
flex up.
Facebook,
Hey,
YouTube, and
Flex
wherever
up,
you
baby.
consider. That's
Yeah,
it.
okay,
All right.
I see.
We'll catch y'all next week. Oh,
Love
wait,
you,
I'm supposed to hit
ladies.
that
Love you
thing.
guys.
I'm supposed to make that thing play. We got some great questions too. We are going to get to your questions. We promised. We didn't get them this week. We're coming back next week. Make sure you come on back. We'll see you around the next time. We are certified unscripted. Good night.